This is the video covering creating symbols for your personal crest. And the first symbol is something from your past. Before we start on symbols, the you should have had 2 sheets of watercolor paper in your sketchbook. The first one you used for your technical exercises, and then the second one's going to be your final paper for the crest. And this is the 7-inch by 11-inch watercolor paper here. So put that aside for now and work on the symbols in your sketchbook. You're going to work out sketches for these symbols in your sketchbook. So the crest is something that is a combination. It's going to be a combination of symbols that are symbolic to you, that say something about you and your identity. And so the first one is something from your past. So something important to you that was meaningful that you could use as a symbol. So for me, I was thinking about things that were important to me in my past, and skateboarding was one of the big things. I don't do it anymore, but I spent a lot of time growing up riding a skateboard, and it symbolizes a lot of things for me: freedom, mobility, and also it was something that the attitude towards skateboarding when I was growing up was that it was something that you shouldn't do. It was dangerous. It was difficult. And so skateboarding for me was a way to overcome some of those challenges and do something that was difficult and really feel like I could achieve something. And I didn't realize those things at the time. I just was doing what my friends were doing. But looking back on it now, later in life, I realized that those were important, meaningful themes for me. So I chose, instead of choosing just a random board, I chose the first skateboard I owned, which was this Ray Barbie Powell Peralta deck. And so I'm going to try to sketch it. I have 2 images, one straight on and one with laying down with the trucks and wheels on it. So I'm going to try to sketch both of them. And skateboards can be kind of tough to draw because they are symmetrical, and anytime you're drawing something symmetrical, it can be challenging. So I'm going to use a guideline. I'm going to use a couple guidelines, actually. I'm going to use 3 guidelines like that, and I'm going to use those guidelines to try to keep my shape symmetrical. And as you can see, it's pretty tough because symmetrical shapes challenge us to draw the same thing on both sides. It becomes really tricky. And actually, this is fun because this reminds me of when I was in middle school and spent a lot of time drawing skateboards on notebooks instead of taking notes. So this is definitely the right symbol for me, for my past, because it's bringing back not only memories of the past, but also of making art and drawing, which are connected. So notice I'm not tracing this. I'm trying to draw it freehand, which might be challenging and difficult, but it also means that I'm doing it in my own way. I'm doing it in my hand, which makes it more personal to me. So even though it may not look exactly like the object on the screen, it is something that I'm creating from my own hand, my own signature, if you will. All right, so that last one's pretty good. I think I got the right proportion from top to bottom and left to right. So now I think I'll add the trucks and wheels to it. And I can do this very stylized. The trucks and wheels are going to be a little bit easier to draw. Just being careful to place them where they're supposed to go. Oops. Okay. And then I'm not going to do the drawing on the I'm not going to do the graphic on the back just yet. I might include that later at some point, but it's not that important to me right now. What's important is that I develop this symbol so that I can use it in my final crest design. And it may or may not look exactly like this, and I might end up repeating the design or changing it somehow, but what's important is to have it developed as a symbol for use in the larger piece, for use in the finished crest. So this is, and I'm just going to ink it because it's just what I prefer to do. I like to ink my finished drawings afterwards to kind of give them a sense of finality, which you are not required to do. You can keep it pencil if you like. So there's symbol 1, something from my past.